it's not cute. That level of cray, you're not effective in the workplace, you're not effective at home, you're not effective anywhere, because we don't know what we're going to get. We don't know when you're going to explode. So it's so important to learn how to be unbothered, how to keep calm, and how to respond rather than react. So as a lawyer, this happens a lot. I'll tell you what, in the courtroom, it can get heated. You even feel like the two counsels, the two lawyers, they hate each other. But right afterwards, they'll be like shaking hands and greeting each other and be like, hey, let's go and play golf. That's how lawyers know this art of staying unbothered. And I learned a lot from them as well. So I hope you guys will also learn these 4 principles and apply them in your life. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is have a plan and remember your plan. Refer to it often. You see, when I'm tempted to be emotional about something, like the other day somebody told me something and I was about to get emotional, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're attacking me, they're being mean to me. I thought about my plan and I was like, no, if I burn bridges with this person, I won't get a certain thing that I needed them to do for me. Like, they're actually a really good person and they actually are very supportive. It's just that their mouth sometimes says things in a very unkind way, but doesn't mean they're unkind inside. So I stopped myself from reacting, because I know even if they're saying mean things to me, or they're saying something that I find offensive, at the end of the day, their actions are showing different. Their actions are actually helpful to me. They're actually building me up, right? It's their own twisted way of trying to help me, right? But if I was so emotional about it and be like, no, I'm quitting, I'm cutting this person out of my life, well, actually this person serves my life in a certain way, serves my bigger plan, my higher purpose, my well-being, then you see it doesn't work out in the end. It's not helping me in the end. Always think, who's winning in this situation? Is it win-win? Is it you losing and that other person winning? Is it you both losing? Like, nobody is winning, nobody is helped out by your outbursts. You damage relationships and you damage your own esteem. Or is it you win and the other person loses? So that's the 4 win-lose matrix, right? So always refer to your plan. That is what makes me unbothered. Whenever something happens, like I don't do something the way I was supposed to do, like I make a mistake or something, and instead of being like, oh my gosh, wallowing in pity and being like, oh my gosh, this is the worst, I think of my higher purpose, my higher plan. Will rolling around and feeling sad and feeling disappointed and feeling and complaining bring me closer to my goal? If it's no, and then I cease and desist immediately. Is getting pissed off of this person who I don't even know, I don't even care about, is it going to lead me to my goal? If it doesn't, I'm not going to bother with it. So before I think with my emotions, I have to have like a very clear picture of my plan and what is my desire and what do I want, right? And whether this action aligns to that, rather than thinking emotions first. The second thing that is very important is realizing that you hold the power. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. Nobody can control your emotions except you. So actually, when there's an outburst, when somebody does something and you blow up and get angry, that's on you. That's on you, because you're using that person's actions to let out that anger. You're using that person's actions to use that as a method of releasing that emotion, and then you have the proper justification that, oh, this person did this, oh, this person did that. But not everybody would react that way in that situation. So actually, you don't get a check off for being angry. You don't get a check off for blowing up on people. You don't get a check mark for doing things that are just basically emotionally fueled. Okay, you hold the power. You decide what you allow to affect you. So for example, somebody say, I was coaching somebody and she was saying, I have this workmate and he's always saying rude comments to me, and then I get really offended because he's being this and this and this. And then I was coaching her and I'm like, okay girl, it's true that he says rude comments, or what you perceive as rude comments, right? Yes, it's true that you are getting hurt by them. Do you have to get hurt by them? Could you just, ignore him and just leave? right? Why does he get off the courage to come to you over and over again? It's because you're giving a reaction. Do you know how boring it is when somebody is just like staring at you? You're not reacting at all. They'll go and find somebody else who's reacting, right? And that's you. You react so hugely to the smallest thing, right? So if you realize that you hold the power and this person keeps coming to you and being like, and you are as bland as a white piece of paper, you're not even like listening to them. You're just like, or better yet, you just remove yourself from the situation every time they show up, then they're gonna get the message eventually, right? So you gotta realize that you have the power. Your emotional control is on you, not on other people. And then the third thing that the third way that I stay unbothered is something spiritual, where I truly believe that God fights for me. I don't need to fight for me, God fights for me, right? So if you're angry or if you're annoyed about a certain situation and you believe that you're the one who has to take vengeance and you're the one who has to do everything and you are the one who has to keep people in check, then of course you're gonna blow up. You're gonna be like, okay, I have to control this situation. I have to make sure they know that I am not a walkover or whatever. But if you trust God and think that God fights for you and he's gonna get revenge for you, then that is what manifests. Honestly, I've seen that when I let things go and I just let people be, the thing just sorts itself out. God is not mocked. So when this person is messing with you and you say, okay, God, you see this person? I'm leaving it up to you. I assure you, God will fight for you. I've had this happen so many times. I was like, I really can't do anything about this, but God can do something about this. So I just let it go. So learn to let things go based on the fact that you don't have to fight for yourself for every single situation. And another thing is natural consequences. Some people who behave in this idiotic manner, this immature manner, like, they're making fun of people or they're just terrorizing people or they're immature or, they're not conscious. They're very immature people. They don't go far. They'll mess up their own lives. That is just the natural consequence of not being a principled person, of having poor character. At the end of the day, you're the one who's going to mess up your own life. So that in itself is its own just desert. I don't have to punish you. Nature and the laws of nature will punish you themselves, right? So you just let it go and you focus on you. And then finally, it's learning how to release emotional blocks or emotions the correct way. As a final special tip, I'll just give you how you do it, like meditation-wise, right? If you have an emotion that you're feeling, right, whether it's you're feeling overwhelmed and whatever, sad, happy, angry, mostly negative emotions, guilty or whatever, you go to your place, a quiet place, right? And then you allow yourself to feel that emotion. Feel it. Where do you feel that emotion in your body? That's the first question. Like, okay, where in my body do I feel this emotion? Is it in my chest? Is it in my shoulders, my neck, my stomach, the pit of my stomach? Where am I feeling it? And then you breathe into it, like breathe in and let it expand. Let that feeling expand with your breath. You're like, feel it intensifying. And then with the out breath, when you're breathing out, let that emotion leave with that breath. Picture, that is the picture you want to have in your brain. And do that until you feel the emotion just let go. And it actually, after a few minutes, it does just leave. Like, at the time I was feeling really upset about something, and I was like, oh, I gotta sit with this feeling. But after I sat with it for a while, I started feeling upset. And I was at the verge of tears, but just sitting with that feeling for a while, it just left. And that's emotions, the energy in motion, they want to be felt and released. So if you do that, you will learn how to release emotions so that you're not blowing up on people all the time or reacting rather than responding. And that makes for a more enjoyable experience. You nurture your relationships, because like, who wants to be friends with somebody who's going to blow up any second? How can family members stand that person who's going to be like, you don't know what they're going to do next, because they can't manage their own emotions, right? So I hope this video helped you. Have a beautiful week ahead. Bye.